If you are here today, it's because you want to also become a smile designer. So what I want to show you, it's a different type of workflow that every dentist can do in their practices. One, simulate your patient's new smile using the power of artificial intelligence. And I will show you guys in a couple of minutes on how you can do that. Then 3D plan your own cases using the newest 3D design powered by SmileFy automated solutions to then perform different types of procedures. I see here that a lot of you guys are general dentists and also prosthodontists. So SmileFy is great for you to educate your patient to make a better decision towards a more complete treatment plan rather than just doing, let's say, that one tooth that the patient came in for. For prosthodontists, it's a great way for you to create a prototype for veneers, either composite or porcelains. And for general dentists, it's also great for you to do your composite restorations, create your guides for periodontal cases, and so forth. Starting from the AI smile simulation, the AI smile simulation has only one way of thinking, which is to motivate your patient, educate your patient, share this image with them so they can fully understand the treatment that you are proposing. Just imagine yourself going into a place where you cannot see what you're purchasing. That's exactly how we conduct our treatment plans today in our practices. And by elevating that type of communication with your patient will definitely bring your consultations to the next level. So here, I'm going to share my screen to show you that it is possible to every practice, no matter how digital you are, or no matter how tech savvy you are, you and your dental staff, as I can see that we have also a couple here today, can deliver smile designs in your practice. So let's say you got your patient, she came in your practice and she's looking for, let's say, replace that one class 4 restoration in that one central incisor. But you as a dentist, you know you can do much better than that. How can you initiate a conversation, change a patient's mindset towards a more complete treatment plan? Let me show you here using this software called SmileFy. All you have to do is to first upload your patient's picture or take a picture straight from your iPhone or iPad. Then next, you will open the 2D smile simulation, and the artificial intelligence of SmileFy will help you create the simulation for you. So here, I'm here using my iPad, but you can use your iPhone or your MacBook. All I have to do is to set the patient's, set the smile frame over the patient's smile. And as you can see, everything is very intuitive. All you have to do is to use the commands here at the bottom to adjust ratio, height, buccal corridor. Then once you're satisfied with your design, and just by looking at the design, for example, look at the patient's canine on the left side of your picture. The patient could definitely do a small gingivectomy. Looking at the patient's centrals, we could definitely enhance that smile, give a better curvature to that smile, close those gaps, make the teeth much wider. So there is a range of different options that you can provide to your patient just by creating this simulation. I tap on Generate Smile Design, and the simulation is done. This is what you can do with what we call the evolution of smile designs. I'm not sure if you guys have done any type of designs in the past, but I have used PowerPoints, Keynotes, Photoshop before I started doing smile simulations on using SmileFy. And I honestly would use one patient to do one simulation with PowerPoint, and that would take me like 40 minutes to do it. I would have to do it over the weekend to show my patient on the second visit. Sometimes the patient wouldn't even come in to just to take a look at the simulation. So it was very hard just to try to go digital in my practice. But now with the power of Smile Designs with artificial intelligence on SmileFy, as you can see, it's simply take the picture, place the smile frame, show the patient the simulation. Well, but Dr. Diogo, what if you don't want to do the simulation that it's shown here, that it's powered by the artificial intelligence? It's totally fine. You can simply adjust the simulation according to your likings. So here, for example, I'm going to show you how you can change the look, the shape of each tooth, change its color as well, create designs with different sets of teeth. So let's say you go from just the centrals to centrals in canines to premolars and so forth, to go ahead and select on different teeth shapes simply by clicking on the template, which is at the bottom of your screen. I'm going to zoom in just so you can see how it can change. Usually I give my patients just 3 options. If you give more than 3 options, they start to get confused, and it's okay because, you know, they're not dentists. So I recommend you guys to just show them maybe like 2 or 3 options. Then you can use your knowledge as a dental clinician to give them different teeth options. So for example, I really like, for example, the F10, I like the F08 for this patient specifically because she has a triangular face, a very young patient. And then once you're satisfied, all you have to do is to tap on next and then give the patient, you can give the patient the iPad, the iPhone, and let them perform the famous before and after. This is all you have to do to initiate a treatment plan, to initiate a conversation with the patient, to a more complete type of workflow. So instead of coming in and just doing the regular treatment plan, talking to them about all these different types of treatments that they can get without showing it to them, will definitely not get them engaged in the process. But if you show them with visual communication how their smile could look like in the future, you could definitely get your patient to feel more engaged and want to know more about different options. Of course, it is imperative for you to know that a smile simulation, as the name says, it simulates the patient's smile. So you cannot solely be focused on the simulation to deliver a treatment plan, as a lot of doctors on Instagram and social media talk about. But you have to also create a whole clinical examination of the patient. You have to deliver all of your patients' x-rays, get all of your patients intraoral scans to deliver an actual treatment plan. But what can the SMILE simulation do for you? It can open the patient's mindset to a more complete type of treatment plan, to treatment plans that the patient maybe didn't even notice, didn't even see it. So this is the power of doing SMILE simulations powered by the artificial intelligence. This webinar, as it has become very popular, this webinar is for you who want to change the way you do treatment plans in your practice. So the first step, as you can see here, is to communicate with your patient with visual tools. Now, coming into a clinical workflow, how can you show this treatment plan to your patient? So here I have an example on how you can show it to them. Simply sit with your patient on your table, your consultation table. In my office, for example, I also have a television attached to it. So I simply place the before and after on the television. I have an Apple TV, so I just put the screen over there. And with my iPad, I can educate my patient, and you can educate your patient better by showing them the different possibilities, showing them different teeth shapes and different teeth designs. A lot of doctors think that doing a smile design, it's only for full mouth rehabilitation. However, smile designs can be done for every type of procedures, going from prosthodontic cases, as I see that we have prosthodontic doctors here, dentalist cases, full mouth bridge, just smile enhancement, smile harmony, as you can see here on the bottom left, bottom right corner. It's great for you to show the patient when, let's say, the smile is canted and you want to do an orthodontic procedure. It's great for you to show them that when the patient has a shifted midline, when the patient has a gummy smile. So smile simulation really gets you into that level of not doing just type of wordings and giving them examples from famous people, famous artists, or different smiles that they can't relate, but you show the patient with their own picture the possible outcome that they can get through smile simulations. Now, going forward, we have the actual treatment plan, and the actual treatment plan can be done by creating a 3D smile design. So I'm going to show you how you, in your practice, can create 3D smile designs to save cost, to save the turnaround time, and to have the patient's engagement from the moment you create these 3D digital Walkups, okay? But before I start the 3D design, I need to know from you, because this is a webinar that is made and built for you. Is in-office 3D Walkup for you? Let me know in this chat. All right, so I'm getting the answers here. All right. Wonderful. I'm getting here. It's a battle, actually. We're getting a lot of yeses. We're getting a lot of absolute. And we're getting a lot of I want to learn more. This is the mindset that I want here tonight. Wonderful. I'm going to end the poll, and I'm going to show you how you can create your own 3D dental Walkups. On SmileFy, the software itself, it was built for dentists. So we are working really hard to make the workflow as simple as possible. So along with your clinical knowledge, what else do you need when it comes to the digital files? You will need your patient's photograph, which you already did. You already did the photograph for your smile simulation, and an intraoral scanner. So, but Dr. Diogo, what if I don't have an intraoral scanner right now? It's all right. There are some companies that literally they just rent intraoral scanners. You can rent it for a day, scan all of your patients, and then take their pictures and then design it. Then if you don't have that in your town, what you can do, you can simply do a mouth impression, then ask your lab to scan it. They will send it back to you via email, and you can literally start your 3D design. And if you do have your intraoral scanner, let's say you have a matted scanner, or you have a 3-shape scanner, SmileFy has a direct connection with these 2 scanners. Simply log in with your credential in SmileFy and look for your patient's files. It will be populated into Smilefy in a couple of seconds, literally. If you don't have a matted or a 3 shape, you can simply upload these files via Dropbox or Google Drive. So all workflow, it's always simplified to make your workflow simpler in your practice. Now, let me move on, and I'm going to share my screen once again. And I'm going to show you now on my iPad again, but I'm going to show you now a new case. Let me go back here. Let me tap close. And I will do here a trial case, which is available in every SmileFy, whether you are a member or not. Okay, so that's the reason why I told you guys to, if you're not a member yet, just download SmileFy right now on your app store to be able to use these cases, to practice these cases, and then become a member whenever you're ready. So here under new patient, I can select Try Me, which are the patients for you to practice, and you will select Try Me 3D. Okay, so here we have 2 cases, case number 1 and case number 2. I'm going to select this case number 1 for this young lady, where we can see that it's definitely an additive case, where we will treatment plan here 6 upper veneers. Okay, it could be either composite or porcelain veneers. The first thing that you will do after you upload these files is to calibrate the files together. Okay, so how do you do that? You will set 3 points on this STL, the intraoral scan, which is on the top, and 3 points on the photo. Once you tap these 3 points, look that we have a flashy button at the bottom. You tap on it and it will calibrate. Okay, that's all you have to do. Well, but what if I have a little discrepancy here and there? We have thought about that. There are commands here at the bottom that allows you to rotate, zoom in, zoom out, do anything that you want. But if you tap on these 3 points and hit set points, most likely you will get the files calibrated like that. A lot of doctors, they tend to ask me, oh, but what happened to the retracted pictures? Why are you not using the retracted picture anymore? The reason why, it's because it's extremely hard to calibrate a smiling picture with a retracted picture. So in order for us to advance ourselves in Smile designs, now we can use the photograph and also the intraoral scan. Look over here, for example, if we take a look at the central incisors, the cervical margins of this patient, just by looking at her smile, you cannot see the cervical margins. But if you add an intraoral scanner to it, you will be able to visualize the entire tooth proportions. That's the reason why facially guided 3D Walkups are here to stay, and we have created automated solutions for you to just use it in your practice to many different type of cases. Okay, now that you calibrated the files together, what is the next step? The next step is for you to calibrate what we call a smile frame. The smile frame will preset the position and the proportions of the patient's future Walkup. Over here, the first step of this calibration is the occlusal portion of your smile design. So in the from an occlusal view, notice, I'm going to zoom in, notice that I have here this green line that goes around the patient's arch. You should place this green line at the buccal surface of the posterior teeth and at the incisal edge position of the anterior teeth. Okay, that will define the the arch of the patient's future smile. Once you did that, you tap next. It's always going back or moving forward, okay, guys? So here at the bottom of your screen, you will have these two little arrows, which takes you back and forth. Here, of course, we're going to be moving forward. Now notice that we already have the patient's face back again. And on the right side, we have the STL or the intraoral scan from different views: profile, frontal, and occlusal. Along with that, we have all these lines. You see, we have blue, pink, orange, yellow. Those are just lines that guides you on how the new position of the design will look like. At the bottom in blue, we have the smile curvature of your new design. On the top, which you can't really see it, let me bring it more to the front so you guys can see it better. And go back. So here on a frontal view, what do we see? We see on the top, the cervical margin, okay, of your design. Right in the middle, it's the midline of your future mock-up. And in pink, which is in vertical, it's the intraproximal contact of each tooth. So basically, what we are having here, it's the outline of your future 3D walks-up. And the cool thing about it is that you don't have to do tooth by tooth. You will do it all together. And I'm going to show you. Right here at the bottom, we have the ungulation, which is called the occlusal angle, which will define the occlusal plane of your dental walks-up. Okay, so you can simply shift it to the left, to the right, and it will move automatically. Here at the bottom, we have midline, height, and ratio, which allows you to define what is the proportion that you want for your dental walks-up. Then a teeth chart will appear, and the main reason is for you to select how many teeth you want for a dental walks-up. You can go from a single crown up until full arch, upper and lower. We have discussed in the beginning that we will do 6 upper anterior restorations for this patient. So all I have to do is to select my teeth from 6 to 11, or if you're not in the United States, from 13 to 23. I tap set and voila, boom. You get all the 3D walks-ups. I've been working with SmileFy for quite a while now, but it still gives me a lot of joy when I see all these teeth coming up all together. If you guys go back to other softwares, you know you have to do tooth by tooth. And if you go back in time a little bit more to analog world, oh my God, you have to do one by one, and it takes forever for you to just place one single tooth. Here, from an occlusal view, you can visualize if your 3D walks up, if the position of the teeth actually, it's in the position that you want. So I can make small adjustments if I want to, just to check on the width of each tooth. And now that I have placed my 3D teeth, I can select the best teeth shape for my patient's smile. Here on SmileFy, you are able to, let me just remove the smile frame. Here on SmileFy, you are able to select from a gigantic variation of 3D teeth templates, which you can either tap on the entire set, and as you can see, it changes its shape in the patient's mouth. And as you simulate, you can see different teeth shapes in the patient with the patient's face. That's why we call it a facially driven dental walks-up. It's basically doing the same thing that you were doing in 2D, but now you're using it to actually create your treatment plan. And the good thing about it is that instead of printing a million models, you can already create this digital version of these Walkups and try on different smiles automatically. Let's say that I want to do the JCP, right? 3D Walkup. I go over here and I notice that this lateral, for example, needs some small adjustments. I can adjust the width, adjust its height, rotate it if I wanted to. Then I go here in reflection, I will reflect the design. So now take a look at the lateral that is on the left side of your picture. Done. I reflected one lateral to the other side. So now I already did both tooth at the same time. Okay, so again, SmileFy was created for dentists, so you guys can create multiple versions, create multiple treatment plans. And we understand, because I am also a dentist, Samia is also a dentist. We work in a very hard and very fast environment, so we cannot spend too much time doing dental Walkups, working with the digital workflows. This is the reason why everything is automated. But we cannot visualize the dental Walkup only from a frontal view. So imagine yourself with a dental model in your hand, but now digitally. Look at this. I can visualize my dental Walkup from different angles. I have always the patient's picture to guide me if I'm doing, a great job. But you can always get the design itself and rotate it from different angles like I'm doing here and make any adjustments that is needed for your dental Walkup to be as functional as possible. So all that I'm doing here right now is to just readjusting the dental Walkup to make sure that it's in its right position. What if I want to do measurements? You can also do measurements. It's right here under analysis. You tap measurement right here at the bottom. We have set, and then you can do the measurement of your future restoration. Okay. Let me expose the intraoral scan a little bit more. These little details that you guys are seeing here, let's say close here to the margin, right here, that's something that we can do a quick fix in the mesh editor version, which is the last version. It's when you literally do the digital waxing. But right now, I'm seeing here a 10.85, which is great. I noticed that this lateral is a little bulky, so I can fix that as well. And I just need to make small adjustments on that canine. But most importantly, I want to make sure that my design is aesthetically pleasing and it has the proportions that I want. Now that I selected the whole thing, we go into the final stage. So let's just do a roundup here. You calibrate the patient's files, you put them 3 points, and then you will merge those two files together. Then you will preset the position and proportions of your 3D Walkups with the Smile frame. Then you will select what type of design you want, what type of teeth shape with the patient's photo like we were doing here before. And now the fourth step is for you to just make the small adjustments. Look at this. I'm using my Apple Pencil. I highly recommend you guys to get an Apple Pencil if you want to create walk-ups with your iPad. If you're going to do it with your iPhone, the screen is very small. You can do it, but the screen is super small. I recommend you to get a stylus, you know, that pen that has a little rubbery thing on the other end. You can get that. And if you're using a MacBook, I recommend you guys to get a mouse, just because it's easier for you to maneuver the files, okay? Here, I'm using my Apple Pencil, and all I'm doing, notice that I'm rotating the file here and there all the time. I'm not changing the structure. I'm not changing the surface because it already has the natural morphology of it. I'm just making small adjustments. Like here, for example, I need to bring this in a little bit more, and this one as well. And then I need to add a little bit of waxing on this palatal area over here and over here. And everything that is in excess, I can delete it. Look at that. You get your Apple Pencil, you become an artist, as a lot of doctors say, and you remove all the excess. That way your workflow becomes faster. You're just removing all the excess that you would remove anyway in your patient's mouth. You do the mock-up trial in your patient. With the mock-up in mouth, you do any final functional adjustments that it's needed, okay? Our philosophy here is to always involve the patient in the process. Although the patient already agreed on a smile simulation, when you place this type of mock-up in your patient's mouth, the reaction is totally different because they're literally seeing, they're feeling the dental wax-up in their mouth. And that's kind of like the final check prior for you to spend a lot of money, a lot of effort towards the final restoration. Okay, so done. We are done. From here, what we do, we export the model. You can see here at the bottom of your screen, export model. You export this model and you will send straight to your 3D printer. Now, if you have a Ziga 3D printer, a Curita 3D printer, Formlabs 3D printer, NextDent 3D printers, PrintRay 3D printer, SmileFy has a direct connection with these printers, which means you will hit export and it will be connected with your 3D printer app for you to close the mesh and 3D print, okay? So if you do have 3Shape, Medit, and have one of these 3 printers, you will have a direct connection from the beginning to the end. But what if you don't have one? Totally fine. You will simply export it to a Dropbox, Google Drive, and then send it to your 3D printer app to 3D print. So here, I'm done. From here, what is the next step? The next step will be for you to create your printed walk-up. The printed walk-up that you create will be exactly what you did in your SmileFy software, okay? So as you design all the morphology, all the contact points, everything will be 3D printed. And once 3D printed, you can place it in your patient's mouth. So here is a case. As you can see, the model itself looks very natural, and performing a walk-up trial, you guys already know, I'm not going to be explaining anything about walk-up trials here. But here, what you can do is to, after placing the dental wax-up and removing all the excess, you will notice that the design that you selected from your 3D SmileFy will be 3D printed, and then it will be transferred to your patient's mouth. The good thing is that your patient is involved from the moment that they walk in your practice, and they will know exactly what they will be getting. This is gold, you guys. Doing this type of workflow is gold in your practice. You will have less headache because your patient is involved. You can get your patient's consent by writing the form. Take a picture, just take a look at the mock-up itself. You get an alcohol 70%, and look how shiny it looks, how great it looks. The one that I used is Luxatemp for this case. Just pay attention to, the natural morphology, the line of angles, the reflection of light that comes from it. I like to always check on the palatal area, the occlusal area, then make sure to do any functional adjustments. Just get a Softlex and a articulating paper. Ask your patient to bite. Do the guidances that you already know, and ask a patient to bite down so the patient can have the nice feeling of the future restoration. Then from there, if the patient is already eligible for the final restoration, you can go ahead and do the procedure right after. It's pretty simple, and it's something that you can do in your practice. This is what I want to show you guys, that you can scan, 3D design, 3D print, and perform your own dental wax-ups in your practice.